Terry Limron of terrytalksnutrition.com is back with more health info that we can all benefit from. And get ready, ladies and gentlemen. He has an incredible herb to share with us today. And Terry, I can't wait. What is it?
Greek mountain tea.
Well, how did you discover it?
Well, Dr. Ward, I travel a lot. And when I'm traveling, I have a nose to look for products that are not known anywhere else, but maybe in a small section of a country. Maybe they're just been used by the culture of that country for years and hundreds of years. I like to explore, and I always find out how people live, how they eat, what they drink, what are their beverages. And I found in Greece when I was there a year or so ago, this Greek mountain tea. And it really is consumed by most everyone in Greece, but mostly it was discovered by the shepherds. They were out in the wild tending their flock of sheep, and they wanted to have more energy, more stability. They wanted to have more resistance. They wanted to have a better clarity of mind. They wanted to have a better mood, and they wanted to be warm. So they drank from wild crafted tea along the ridges of the mountains, and they made a tea of this weed or plant. Everything is a weed until you find out what it's good for. Then it becomes an herb. They use this, and what I like about this is that there's no science behind it. Now there is, but traditionally, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, when they started drinking this tea, they drank it because they knew they felt so good and so well. So they are the proof of the pudding. They are the largest population study on the herb because they all drank it. They all felt good.
Well, what are some of the health benefits that are associated with the use of this Greek mountain tea?
Well, clarity of mind for sure. Increased mood. Um, it gave them a stronger resistance. They felt better. They had a better. It just improves the metabolic function. Now we talked some time ago in one of our podcasts. We talked about metabolic syndrome, metabolic function. That is the chemistry of the body. And when we're taking a tea, it affects a lot of the function of the body. Now, they are really actually drinking the tea. But I found in America, people just don't drink beverages like teas often enough. So if people know what green tea is, some people drink green tea, but most of it is sold in capsules. So I thought the best thing to get people to accustomed to drinking or consuming the Greek mountain tea is to find a way to process it, to concentrate it, to extract it, and put it into capsule form. And that's what we've done.
Well, it makes sense because I don't drink a whole lot of herbal tea. Yeah, I'll drink green tea, maybe some chamomile tea in the evening, but not a heavy tea drinker. And I know a few people that are, but when it comes to natural remedies, I think the capsule is the only way to go. Now, with this Greek mountain tea, is this something that works quickly or does it take time for its benefits to develop?
Well, most things take time to develop. Um, so it might be a few weeks, maybe a month or so, to really start seeing the effect of it. You're not going to see something overnight. Things take time before they have an effect on all the different pathways of the body to make the difference in the changes in the body. So we need to take time. But Greek mountain tea there's never been that form of tea in the US. We are the first company to discover the Greek mountain tea and bring it into America as a supplement. So it's a very, very groundbreaking an event for us to bring this into the country to serve those people that want to have the same effect. They've been wild crafting it for years and years and years, hundreds of years. And we might think it's a peasant drink or a shepherd's drink, but it's only because they found the benefits by being out in the wild so much and taking advantage of what was around them and making a tea out of it. And it makes great sense.
Well, Terry, I saw. Well, actually, I was reading one of your books right here, and talks about this Greek mountain tea. And I read about this British study that you mentioned that showed that the Greek mountain tea improves test scores, focus and concentration,
Absolutely.
relieves ADHD, creates a sense of calmness, which I can see is very positive if one is taking a test. We all get nervous taking a test of some sort. Maybe you and I don't take a whole lot of tests
Right.
like we used to, but I could have used this years ago to calm the nerves and increase the focus.
Well, what I said before that there were no tests on it, no science behind it. That's because the culture knew it worked, and that's why they continued to drink it. When you look back, traditional use of medicines, that's the proof of the pudding. They continue to use it because it works. They continue to use it because it gave them some fantastic results. Now, in this modern day, we are looking at studies, and there are three really good high quality studies on the Greek mountain tea, the one that's in the capsule form. And there are more studies being underway right now that prove that it does have that effect. And you do have a greater clarity of mind. You do think better. You concentrate better. You have a better mood. If you think better, you have a better sense of reasoning. You feel better. So it all comes together to give the same kind of effects that the traditional use of it hundreds of years ago.
Was it? Is it anti-aging in nature?
Well, it would be somewhat anti-aging in nature. We're not going to live 100 years, 120 years or whatever. But people think anti-aging means, well, I'm not going to age. That's not what it means. It means aging gracefully, aging better. There are people in their 40s that act like they're in their 80s. And then there's people in their 80s act like there are people in their 40s, because it's all a matter of how we age and how well we do, and that we're not abusing our body, we're not taking advantage of our body, wearing it out faster. We can feel better, look better, act better, and have more activity, and be able to function better later in life. That's what the Greek mountain tea does as well. When you've got these people, these shepherds, it actually was called shepherd's tea for a while. When you have these shepherds out there drinking it, they're out there in bad weather. They're in the mountainous regions. Their flocks are walking up and down the hills, and they're walking with them. Um, they have to have strength. They have to have resilience. They have to be stronger. They have to have better cognitive function. All these things can help us in our modern day lives and have that same feeling. If you're as strong as those shepherds out there, it's going to make a difference.
Well, doesn't that also prove too that the region in which Greek mountain tea is found and grown, that it's a very strong plant, but also it contains some very incredible natural health properties that well very well, such as the polyphenols and antioxidants.
Like a lot of plants, and in particular the Greek mountain tea, when they're grown in harsh environments, they produce natural chemicals in the plant to help that plant grow and resist pests, resist the excessive sun or weather. So they become stronger. So they have a higher level of those compounds. We call them chemicals. They're not chemicals. They're molecules, or they're other plant um, nutrients that actually grow at a greater degree to help that plant grow on rocky soil, on practically nothing sometimes. That's what the olive trees do. I mean, when you see where olive orchards are growing in Mediterranean countries, those trees 3,000 4,000 years old. They're knotted, they're twisted, and because they keep growing in different ways to keep trying to pull everything out of the soil to grow, so they become stronger and live longer. So when you asked about anti-aging, yeah, we can live longer because there are better nutrients, more of a higher quality of those nutrients, and a lot more of those nutrients in plants that have been grown in harsh soil.
Well, for a while, every time I would see Greek mountain tea, my brain would want to say green mountain, but it's actually Greek. Now,
Great.
is there a difference between Greek mountain tea and green tea? I
Yeah,
mean, are they the same or different?
not anywhere near the same. They're different. The green tea has a different composition of natural chemicals, and the Greek mountain tea has its own set of natural compounds. They're not the same. They're different. They're both good. Good. I mean, whoever, the green tea is great. There's a lot of good research behind green tea. Probably a lot more extensive research behind green tea. But I think the Greek tea is. I love it as a supplement.
Well, let me ask you this one because there are quite a few herbs known for effects on stress relief, focus, mental function. So, for those that might be interested in wanting to try the Greek mountain tea in a capsule form versus, let's say, ginkgo or ashwagandha, for example, what would you tell them?
If I had to choose between those, how are you saying?
Yes.
Oh, well, they all serve a purpose. They all have their own trademark, so to speak, of natural components that give you results. And personally, I don't want to miss any of them, so I take all of them. That's the only way you can do it. Um, when you study this long enough, you begin to appreciate every one of those ginkgo, ashwagandha, the Greek mountain tea, propolis, OPCs from grapeseed. We have a wealth of pharmacy in the natural industry of all these natural products, but only if they are of high quality. You know, all these herbs may be called the same, but all herbs are not the same. It depends on where they're growing, how they're processed, what chemicals are used to process them, to extract them. You can use solvents, you can use hexane, which is really, really bad. You can use CO2, carbon dioxide, some of these more natural forms of extraction process. So the plants are different. And what I would suggest is to seek out a very reputable company that has a history of producing very, very high quality products and stand behind them with science, with studies. Um, there's a lot of good research behind plants that prove that they have a greater effect. And I think this is true for all the plants that are available in America. Some are very adulterated, some are spiked, some are actually have nothing in the plant, nothing in the capsule that would represent the plant. They use something else because it's cheaper, and they call it the plant because it's now berberine is going to probably be adulterated in time or spiked with something or some other substance because it's going to be expensive, and now they want to bring the cost down, so they add something that not even berberine just to lower the cost. So you have to all these great things are wonderful about the history and the science, but you've got to make sure you have the right quality of herb in order for it to have an effect.
Okay, let me ask you this because as I was reading in your book, and ladies and gentlemen, this is actually the book right here about the Greek mountain tea. But you mentioned in your book about combining it with an herb called bacopa, um, which I read where it increases the levels of serotonin in the brain, the feel good neurotransmitter that we all need today. So, why would we want to combine those two?
Well, first of all, the Greek mountain tea is for clarity, for concentration, for short-term memory loss, for all the things mentally and how it functions. Bacopa is its rival, its cousin. It does the same thing, only there's a lot more research behind Bacopa There are several hundred studies behind Bacopa, studies even for Alzheimer's disease. A study I just ran across this morning that it may have some effect on cancer and neurological diseases. Bacopa is one of the most common and most effective herbs in the Ayurvedic medicine from India. Uh, so by combining that with the Greek mountain tea, it has a super good effect for mental clarity and reducing a loss of memory and dementia. And one of the worst forms, of course, is Alzheimer's disease. But this is a really good combination for those that want to go more deep into affecting the brain function and reducing any chance and risk of Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah, and and it really goes back to what you said in a previous conversation that we had here on the show about making the right choice when it comes to our nutrition. And for a lot of you out there that do not know this, in medical science, Alzheimer's disease is actually referred to as type 3 diabetes. Type
Right.
3. And but we all have the choice to eat correctly. And Terry, I know that you love the ketogenic diet. Even the Mediterranean diet is a plus to improve your overall health. And ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing about our brain. Our brain is 70% fat. It does use glucose as fuel, but you need to stop eating processed sugars because it can cause a detrimental effect upon your memory, especially later on in life. And ladies and gentlemen, here's what you need to do. And I'm going to let you know after the break or going into the break which Greek mountain tea that you need to get. It's one of my favorites. It's one of Terry's favorites. But also, too, if you go online, so this book right here is about Greek mountain tea. And there is some amazing information in this book that you need to know. Terry and I could sit here for a couple hours talking about this information. But go online right now. Head over to terrytalksnutrition.com. Sign up for his incredible newsletter. Probably one of the best natural health newsletters out there today. And spend time searching his massive database of healthy articles that are easy to understand and which will help you point you in the right direction concerning natural remedies. And tune in to his weekly radio show where he talks about a lot of these natural remedies in depth. You can tune in online. And Terry, you must be adding articles to your website daily.
Oh, all the time. We have podcasts, we have videos. Um, I have my diet on there that if you want to know how to, it's a little more moderated than the ketogenic diet. Um, and when you jump into the ketogenic diet, it's such a change for 99% of Americans because they're eating the American diet. I don't want you to get scared off from the ketogenic diet. It's a game changer. It'll change your life. Uh, but it's a severe change of what Americans are eating today. So take it slowly, but make an effort every day to add something that helps you change the diet that you're eating now to like the Mediterranean diet or the paleo diet or the ketogenic diet. They did a survey um, of the comparisons of dog food and the American diet. And the dog food was more healthy than the American diet. So what does that say? We're feeding our pets better than we're feeding our own health and body. So food is our best medicine.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Food is our best medicine. And I'm gonna give you the answer to which Greek mountain tea that you need to buy. But right now, also go online again to terrytalksnutrition.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Search his database for the articles. Just type in whatever health concern or herb you want to know about. It's on his site. And tune in every weekend to his incredible radio show. So stay tuned to me because I'll be right back with more.